in reality, we might be dealing with inner issues.
But I didn't have to learn it the way I did. Like somebody could have just taught me.
Listen, I feel resentment from every direction. Even some homies be wearing expressions. I be discouraged from sharing my blessings. We used to share a connection. Now it just feels like it's wearing and stretching.
Hey y'all, welcome back to Everything's Okay with Kaie. If you're new to the channel, hey friend, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back friend. As y'all can see, I do have some guests with us today for men and mental health. And before we get started, if you are watching the video alone, stop, go grab your daddy, your cousin, your uncle, your brother, your boyfriend, and tell them come sit down with you and join, because it's honestly gonna be a good ass video, so, and some good conversation. But if y'all want to introduce yourselves.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's Thomas. I'm 25 years old, and mental health is important to me because we all need it.
Thanks. I'm Carlton. I'm 24, and I think mental health governs our everyday life. So if you're not living a healthy lifestyle, then it's really gonna hurt you in the long run.
Yeah, and then if you're wondering how I know these guys, this is my brother, as you saw in the last video, and then this is my childhood friend. So yeah, let's get into this video. So the last video that I had guessed, which was the mukbang with Dom and Tyler, I did not show them the questions, but I felt like these questions were a little bit deeper. So I actually showed the guys the questions first, but I do have one question that I did not show them. So when I first asked y'all to be on the episode, what was the one thing that you really wanted to talk about? Like, what was that one thing you was like, ooh, I know what I want to say?
The one thing that I really want to talk about?
Yeah, like you was like, ooh, I gotta talk to him about that.
I think it's actually incorporated into like a little bit of all your questions. But it's like kind of like an overarching theme of like how men don't really deal with anything. We were never really given like the space or taught how to like cope or express yourself. So, but I think that's like sprinkled into a little bit of all your questions. So we'll get through all of it at some point.
Okay.
I think kind of like how Carlton said, it's just more like on people, like men, like having to like hold it in, like their emotions. So I think like pretty much all the questions, it's gonna be like, you know, tied on there.
When we get through all of them, it'll all make sense.
So the first question that I have written down, what were you taught from a young age about being male and dealing with mental health and emotions?
Good. It's actually kind of crazy. I tell a story to some of my friends that when I was younger, my dad had this rule in the house that he would tell me and my brother that, and he only said it once or twice, but he never ever had to repeat himself many times. He could say, you can think whatever you want to think, you can feel whatever you want to feel, you just better not say it unless you say it in a respectful tone, or whatever you're saying is respectful. But y'all know how it is in a black household. There's not much you can tell your parents that goes against what they just told you that is respectful. Even if you say it nicely, they're still gonna take it as disrespect. So coming up with, you know, a rule like that or just like a idea like that, I always just learn to like save myself the trouble and just never say anything at all. So I might feel some type of way from what was being told to me, done to me, or how I was being treated. And I just would never say anything at all. I just kind of keep it in. I wouldn't even talk about it much with like my brother or anybody else. And that turned into like a habit kind of, or like a behavior for me, to where now I'm older, I'm grown now, and I still have trouble expressing myself when I feel something or when I want to speak up for myself. I have a hard time even getting that across now, because from, you know, 6, 7 years old to now, I ain't been saying nothing. So it's hard to just kind of like overcome that randomly just because you choose, all right, I want to do different now.
It's real though. I think mine is more like kind of self-talk, because like I got like 2 other brothers that I'm real close with. Like, I got a younger brother after that, but I think all 3 of us, like being around the same age, like being young, we used to like fight and shit all the time. So I think that emotion of like wanting to cry or like being hurt or just whatever, like you gotta hold that in. So I think over time, you just kind of teach yourself to like, oh, I ain't gonna, there's a lot of emotions that you're not gonna express. Like even maybe dealing with depression, like you be like, man, I'm just gonna hold this shit in. Like I'm just gonna keep it to myself. So
it's like,
I feel what you're saying.
Yeah, especially as a part of like being a man, especially a black man, you got so many things already stacked against you that you have to be like tough to stand up against. And everybody, especially in our age group of growing up, crying when you was little was a no-no. Like you did not do that. Nobody, you might cry in your room, by yourself, but you're not crying in front of your partners, you're not crying in front of your brothers, you're not crying in front of girls either. And that's another big part of being a man with mental health is that there's also a stigma that we get from women. Because if you on Instagram, Twitter, being emotional all the time, typically a woman might look at you and say, well, he too emotional for me. We get it from every kind of which way, and it just makes us kind of shut down even more because you don't want to show that you're not weak. You want to be a man, right? So that's just what you want to be.
So I have a question. So like growing up in a black household, like when I started dealing with like, depression and anxiety, the first thing I was told was like, that's not real. Like you're not anxious, you're not depressed, like you black, so that's already stacked against you. You're female, like that's the next step. So like you don't need to add that you're crazy on top of it. Like you're sad or you going through something, but don't go tell nobody like you have a mental health problem. Yeah. Like is that the same with like males? Like are your parents just like, stop telling people you're crazy?
I think that's kind of the same for everybody. It's not a male-female thing. Because black people in general are just now starting to come around to mental health. We're just now starting to even acknowledge mental health in the black community for real, let alone back when we were growing up, high school. 2010, that's 11 years ago now, when we was in high school. You see, so, there's words that we could say in 2010 and nobody would look twice. You can't even say that now.
I think that for us, it was almost like, we didn't even believe it was real. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I didn't really know nothing about it.
For real.
We never learned it.
Okay, so the next question for the guys, do you plan to instill some of these same teachings that you were taught into your sons, nephews, other little guys in your life? And if not, what are some of the things that you plan to teach those young men?
I would say first, just teach them respect, but also, like I think that you should take like whether it's your son, whether it's your little brother, like whoever, like show them like how to express themselves. You know what I mean, in a way that's healthy. Like we were just talking about, like as a man, I think that we don't get that. Like we're not allowed that opportunity. So I think for the next generation, it's very important that we share that with them.
Yeah, I'm not teaching my children nothing of how I came up. Like, I'm cool now just because I'm an aware person. Like I'm self-aware, but it was extremely unnecessary. Like, the things that I know now, like I know them and I'm grateful for them, but I didn't have to learn it the way I did. Like somebody could have just taught me that without me having to go through it.
That's real.
Yeah. I'm not giving anybody else, especially a young male, I'm not giving them, the cards I was dealt when I can just give you the best cards because I already went through it. So why would I make you go through it? And like when it comes down to boys crying, I never understood why boys can't cry because
it's natural.
Yeah, if you're a baby, there's two things you're gonna do to communicate. You're gonna either laugh or you're gonna cry, and laugh is anything good, cry is anything bad or sad. So like it's your natural communication is to cry. So when you tell a human to stop one of their first human functions, you're gonna mess them up somewhere along the way.
I guess no.
So this just came to me. So I remember as a girl, like growing up, I remember even like playing with y'all. Like I remember when I started like developing, Like, I remember boys being like, you can't play with us no more. I don't know what's going on with you. Like, you getting real girlish. Like, so I was watching Red Table Talk, and Amber Rose was basically saying how her son is 7 and she starts teaching him now about things dealing with females in the female body. So she was like, he understands what a period is. He understands that when I'm going through my period, like, this is what I'm dealing with. So she said basically so that when he's in class and girls are 12 and 13 getting their periods and developing in their bodies, and the other boys are kind of being like, like, you know, you getting kind of weird, her son's gonna be like, no, like, my mama went through this, my sister went through this, like, this is normal type of thing. Do y'all agree with teaching those kind of things?
Yeah, most definitely. Just because I don't even think it should be like a parental thing. I think the school should teach our children that. You know, every little boy needs to understand what a woman's makeup is. You know, yes, the little girl in middle school is gonna grow breasts. She's gonna get hips in high school. Like, and the more we just start to see you as what you got, we're never gonna treat you as what you are. And especially like periods and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I never thought.
And little boys like us, again, just the times are different. Man, nobody tell me nothing about that. So like, you can never teach somebody too early. But sometimes it is too late. So
yeah, I feel that. Yeah, I definitely agree with like young males needing to be taught that, because I mean, it could save a lot of shortcomings when it comes to sex or just whatever. Like, coming up as a teenager, like, I feel like it's very important to know. Like, it's very helpful going into adulthood.
I feel like it would be good to know, like, a guy knows. Like, I remember even in high school, like, hiding your tampons and like tucking them in to like go to the bathroom is like a normal thing, but you're just like, why do I have to do this? And in actuality, it's like, I don't do it for like the other girl that's walking. Like, I do it so that the guy that is walking doesn't see it, but I'm like,
understands it.
Yeah, but I'm like, why am I doing this? Like,
I think Thomas said something really interesting. Dwayne said it might help stop some of the shortcomings that boys have, especially when it comes to like sex. Because when it comes down to like mental health and sexual health, it's all kind of like under the same umbrella. And the more you leave women as a question mark to young boys, the more they're gonna find on their own. So like, we learn women through the internet, and how we see y'all on the internet is not how you are in real life. Because if I'm watching porn to understand women, I'm never gonna treat women with respect, because they don't show that. You know, if I'm just looking on, especially for the kids now, you need to do what Ambrose is doing. You don't learn respect in the real world.
at home.
Internet respect is gonna have you all the way upside down, and it's gonna have you messed up when you're an adult. And those are the men that grow up to disrespect people or violate other people because they never learned it. It all started with you at home.
Right, that's real.
This third question, I guess just kind of connects to what is going on in the world right now. So does being a young black male affect how you deal with and express your mental health and emotions versus how you feel you would be able to if you were just seen as a young male?
Absolutely. Everything is different when you're black. You know, if you deal with issues as a black person, you're automatically gonna be discounted. Like, so when you say I'm black and I have an addiction, you're a crackhead. You're not in need of help. You know what I'm saying? There's stigmas on everything.
You like that, you stuff.
Yeah, or you chose that. You know,
Yeah.
if you're black and you're depressed or you just sad all the time, you can't see the positives. If you're black and you have anxiety, you be tripping. Like, you know, but it always goes against it. You're always to blame for what's your environment, basically. So I can't imagine what it would be like if I was white and saying those things, because I'm not. But I can only guess that it would be a hell of a lot different.
Right. And if you black, like, trying to come up, like you said, like, shit, if you want to express like how you feel, maybe you is dealing with mental health, like mental health, like, I think that you probably like, damn, like, I ain't gonna express this shit. Like, I already gotta deal with shit on my own, so. Yeah.
And we see it too, like, especially in the world, like you said, you know, the biggest thing, we humans, every human is gonna have a rough life at some point, basically. But when you black, you're dealing with regular human life and, you know, all these extra factors. And if you are a black person who deals with mental health or severe mental health, you're at a way higher risk than even the next black person who doesn't, because they don't know how to deal with you. You know, so if you're black with anxiety, you get pulled over and have an anxiety attack and you freak out at the wheel, you might die. You know, where the next average black or the black person without mental health will sit down and talk to the police officer and they might live. And even they might die. So imagine being a black person who deals with mental health issues. You know, there's always an extra card stacked against you on top of all the other ones that's already stacked against you.
It's like a triple entendre, like.
For real.
I literally just have to think like, oh, what that is.
Triple entendre.
Okay, so in the mukbang, I don't know why I got so excited when I said that. Sorry, y'all. In the mukbang, Tyler talked about his perspective on it, kind of. So he like will sometimes like party it off type of thing. And so we were talking about like how men like to cope. Like it seems like guys, when they're like anxious, depressed, sad, like, you know, when something's going on, they tend to like tell others, let me deal with it by myself. So like, how do y'all like to cope? Like, do you have coping mechanisms? Do you just like say, oh, well, like.
That's tough.
I think mentally I just be like, nah, I'm good, you know? Almost like in a non-expressive way, like I'm straight. So I think that, like how Tyler was saying in the other video, it's just kind of like deal with it yourself. Cause that's what it kind of feel like as a guy, like especially as a black guy, like it's just like, deal with that shit yourself.
That's
exactly
Yeah. That's exactly how it is. It's crazy. I actually just told somebody that yesterday. I was like, they asked why I kind of like shut down on them. And I was like, whenever anything get rough, I'm gonna do it on my own. Like, I'm gonna just do it. Because like how I said, that's what it was for me growing up. You know, you just, something come up, you handle it on your own. So, I don't even feel comfortable talking to you. You might be the love of my life. I don't even feel comfortable telling you like I'm having a hard time dealing with this. Because I'm supposed to be, you know, in the world's eyes, I'm supposed to be the guy who has it together and is here for you. So if I can't even be here for me, how am I supposed to be here for you? So even if I'm not okay, I'm gonna tell you I'm okay. I'm gonna make it seem like I'm okay. And when it comes down to coping, I think that's where coping comes in, because I'm gonna already shut the issue down internally. And then now I need to cope, because there's the stress that I'm feeling, then there's me internalizing it. Now what you gonna do? And for me, I'm coming around now. I'm starting to figure out healthier ways and better ways. But the past 4 or 5 years, we would definitely party that shit off. I'd go out to the club, drink the pain away. You know, that's literally what you do. Because if I'm in the club with my partners and I'm listening to music and I'm having fun, my mind isn't inside itself. So I'm in there having a good time. I get to do what I want to do. It's like a distraction. So, like certain people distract themselves with certain things. You latch on to whatever gives you that joy, then, like that happiness, that distraction. So if that's Fortnite, the video game, you know, hanging out, smoking, drugs, alcohol, club, whatever it is for you, I find that most men indulge in that because we're not about to sit down and talk to you. That's just not how we built or wired. And, you know, I'm not wired like that personally. Some people are, and I envy the ones who are, but, you know, some men can really sit down and talk. They'll say, I'm feeling this and I need your help with that, but I can't do that. I'm working on it, but it's hard. It's way harder than it sounds. It's way harder than it sounds. We don't really learn coping mechanisms as a child or even as an adult.
Yeah, for real. Like going out, drinking. I think even messing with different chicks, like I think that's a way to cope, you know? Like it make you feel good. It make you feel good about yourself sometimes.
A little depressed.
I'm not gonna lie, that's the most valid thing, I think. Women. We look for shelter in women. But it's like, that's why we hurt so many women. Because I don't actually love you. I don't actually love you. I don't actually want to be with you. I'm just so hurt that I need to feel something else. You know, and I feel so alone because I've been doing it by myself the whole time that I just want to be with you. I don't necessarily want to, I want to be around you. I don't necessarily want to be with you. So like when you start sharing yourself with me, I'm not sharing with you because I'm with you for the wrong reason. I'm only with you to feel distracted from my real problems when you are invested in me, when I'm just using you as a distraction. So then when I'm straight again and I go somewhere else, now here you are, heartbroken. It's a bad cycle. It's a vicious cycle and it's toxic, but it's just like when you leave a little boy with no guidance, that's what you're gonna grow into. And it's not healthy or justified, but we see in the effects of our cycles and somebody gotta break it one day.
Damn.
That was where I think you explained what I was going through. At one time, like for real.
You can't play with people like that. Human beings are humans. Like everyone has feelings. The same way your feelings made you do that, that person has feelings. And now think about what you made them go do.
Damn.
All right. Nice.
Damn, what was I supposed to say? I was about to say something. Okay, so I know that like when I need to communicate something, I'm really bad about like, okay, say you hurt my feelings, right? You can come up to me and be like, what's wrong? And I'm gonna say, nothing, I'm good. But then I have a bad habit of, I'll sit down and write you a letter and tell you everything you did to piss me off. Or I'll send you a text message and tell you everything you did to piss me off. Because it's like, it's easier to like send that message versus to sit there and like tell you. Because if you don't receive what I'm saying when I'm telling you, it's gonna make it worse for me. But I feel like if you're not receiving what I'm saying in a text message, I could be like, oh, you're not reading the message right. You can't hear the tone type of thing. Like I can make an excuse for it. Do y'all have like a way that y'all express your emotions, or do y'all just like vocalize it? Like do you just not say anything at all?
I think mine is probably a self-control issue, honestly. Like subconsciously, I think in my mind, like if I do express, like I'm gonna be too mad. So like I'm already like in my mind thinking like shit. If I express myself right now, like
a flash out.
Yeah, like I'm gonna flash out. So it's like I just hold it in because I'm like, like I don't want to deal with this right now. But if you let this shit build up, like you gonna really flash like when it do come out. So
like, what about like if you sad?
Like if you sad,
like you just be like, oh well, you hurt my feelings.
I don't think it's really nothing to.
Men don't really deal.
Yeah, we don't really deal with that.
You don't be sad?
No, you might get sad, but you're not allowed. Like the way it is, you kind of turn that feeling off. You're not really allowed to be sad.
Right.
How you might be sad about something, you could call your homegirl and cry, or you could sit in your room and cry, and somebody might just leave you alone and say, well, she just sad. But men don't really get like when it comes to like expressing things. Me personally, I don't really express much of anything. Like if you hurt me or you do something foul to me, I might never tell you. I might never even tell you that I know. And I'm gonna just act different.
So you gonna still talk to him?
No, I'm gonna move different. But then it's like it always comes back on me because now here you don't know that I know, so you're mad at me for acting different. When in reality, it's my fault because I never addressed it with you. I never told you, but I didn't know how to tell you, and I didn't want to flash out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's real though.
I didn't want to flash out.
I think I'm the same way, like just not expressing it,
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna just keep going, like.
And I think it's really different for like, all right, let's say a dude do something to you. You can flash out to your friends. You can get on Twitter and men ain't shit and blah, blah, blah. You can post on Instagram. You can post your screenshots. You can post whatever you want. But like, if a girl do something to me and I post my screenshots and I'm posting sad lyrics and saying women ain't blah, 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 you see how that reflects. You wouldn't date a man, you go on his Twitter and it's full of that. I mean, men can do that, but if you do it, it's perceived differently than if you do it. If I'm subtweeting a girl, everybody sees it. They're like, oh, he got tendencies. Right. He got ways. Right. He got tendencies, and that's not cool.
Which I hate that. Like
That's real, though.
that phrase pisses me off. Female tendencies. Like,
You see?
First of all, I'm offended.
It's acceptable for you socially to do it, right? Socially.
That's true.
In the general public's eyes, it's acceptable. And it's not acceptable for me to do it. So when I start doing it, it's only acceptable for females to do it. So now I have I'm doing a female action.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So then girls will get on there. Like, I've done it before. Like, literally one time, this girl played in my face, like, bad. And I don't remember what I tweeted, but it was like some Drake type shit, some emotion type shit. You see? It's funny. It's funny when niggas do it.
I was just laughing at the Drake.
I tweeted some shit and, I put it on my Instagram story. And I had like 6 DMs immediately. Who hurt you? Why you on your feelings? Get out your feelings. Why you acting like a hoe? I'm like, damn. I deleted it. I was like, God. But that's like, them type of responses make you not want to feel no more. And what you may be feeling is very valid. And, that's really how you feel in that moment. But you don't even get to express yourself because you so scared of looking like a hoe. Right. You so scared of not being a man. This is these images we got to keep up and hold up. This is not afforded to us as an opportunity. Mm-hmm. And it's, it's double standards of everybody gets hurt in some way. But when it comes down to emotions, the world that we built as men, it doubles back on us because we can't be
right. Real talk, that's crazy, and it don't exist.
Yeah,
like you said, like being said, like
like the fact that y'all said, y'all, this is so weird. I'm so sorry. The fact that y'all said like, we don't really get sad. Like,
nah.
In my head, I'm just like,
you can't be.
Man, what would that world look like?
Yeah, I mean, I'd be sad sometimes, but then it's like I can be sad by myself.
Right. Like,
yeah, but then when you come around, I can't be sad no more. Like when somebody walk up on you, it's like, oh, what's up? Like, well, now I'm normal. I have some of my closest partners who I talk to and I tell them it's not fine. They be like, man, you just gotta get through that shit. You gotta suck that shit up. You blah, 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 blah. You never got to talk about it. It's just, man, you tripping.
Y'all gotta stop doing that. Like,
it's what men do. You know what I'm saying? And I don't blame my partners because they grew up the exact same way. So how would I be mad at you for something I came up with? Right. The exact same thing.
But to be real, it's gonna start videos like this for people to see, like, the next generation will see.
So, to women, because I feel like a lot of people are just gonna assume that this video is just for men. To the women that are watching, if they have a man in their life that isn't necessarily able to communicate emotionally, isn't able to really express their, like, what's going on with them mentally, able to accept their mental health, how do you think they should deal with that?
That's tough.
I think that just be supportive, and be open to new things. I guess that's really just the main things.
Yeah.
When it comes to that, like, just be open and be supportive, be caring. I don't think it's no secret that you gotta know or anything like that. It's just,
Yeah, it's not really right or wrong.
Yeah, like once you find that person, like, that you feel like you want to be with, a person that you feel like you want to fight for them, that's one of the things. So
I think that is so specific to each relationship. I think you would have to know your person's love language because
those are so important.
Yeah.
Learn your love language. Learn your apology language too. Your love language and your apology languages. There are I'm gonna link the quizzes down below.
I don't know about
because those are so it is. I feel like it's so important.
So you saying like letting your partner know what your apology language is?
Yeah, so
to know
it's
that
like,
you're genuine.
Yeah, so there's just like there's quizzes, like there's a love language quiz and an apology language quiz. And the love languages, I think, are like words of affirmation, like gifts,
physical touch, quality time, and
there's one more.
Words of affirmation, quality time, physical touch,
gifts,
gifts,
and then there's one more.
Acts of service.
Yeah.
Acts of service.
So it's like, words of affirmation don't really work for me because
you have to know which one of those to be supportive.
Yeah.
Because if you're giving me gifts and I want quality time,
then it doesn't.
It's
not connecting. Yeah. So it's like if somebody's dealing with something and you're trying to like, oh, he's sad, let me buy him a bunch of shoes. Like, that doesn't work.
Yeah, if you want to be there for someone who's not really meeting you halfway, you have to know how to meet them. Like if they're having a hard time, if they're going through depression, not really communicating their issues to you, you have to know how to love them.
Right.
Physical
That's
touch.
real.
I've had people who tried to make up for everything with physical touch, and I'm a quality time person. Like, and even though everyone appreciates physical touch, but like you hugging me and trying to cuddle up on me when I'm sad or not feeling the best is only going to piss me off. Like, get away from me.
It's like overcompensating.
Yeah, sometimes I just want to sit here on the couch and watch a movie in silence. Because you were there with me and I just got to enjoy your presence, that might have did it for me. But you trying to, and getting mad at me, why you not hugging, why you not blah, blah, blah. We speak in two different languages. That's like trying to buy an Italian pizza in Spanish. Good luck. It's not gonna work. One of y'all gonna get pissed off. So,
I think you told me something.
I'm gonna link down below the links to the apology language and the love languages. The love language and the apology language aren't for relationships, it's for you.
The relationship shouldn't make your love language. Your love language makes the relationship.
Yeah, like your love language is like how you take on being loved platonically as well, like how you prefer your family to love you. The same thing with apology languages is like it's how you prefer people to apologize to you. It's how you accept apologies. So yeah, y'all take those quizzes. They'll be in the description box below. Okay, so piggybacking off of the coping, because we kind of went off on like some other little questions. How do you like your loved ones, your significant others, your siblings, your friends, you know, the people in your life to help you through tough times? Do you prefer them to just like get out of your way, leave you alone, like let you deal with it on your own, let you figure it out? Do you want them to like give you kind of like words of affirmation, like, and positive, like, you know, I'm still proud of you, like I'm still here for you type of thing? Do you like them to like do things for you, like, you know, like how do y'all like them to help you cope?
I don't know. I guess I never had to think of it before.
I like solitude. You know, I like for everybody to just leave me alone. And I think that's just, is what I like now because of what I've been doing for the past, you know, my whole life. If something happened to me, it's like I'm a turtle kind of. You know, like, if something happened to me, I don't want to talk to you about it. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to address it. I want to deal with it with me first. And then if I feel like coming to talk to you, I will. But most of the time, I'm going to just handle it myself. I'm like, whatever, it's true. It's good. It's good. It's like, I'm going to just keep telling you it's good. It's good. No, don't worry about it. Because I don't necessarily want help, because going by the standards of like men in the world, it made me feel weak. And these are the things that I'm trying to overcome myself and stop living by that kind of stuff. Because if you love me and you want to be there for me, whether you're my loved one, my relation, like my partner, whatever, all you want to do is be there for me. And I'm shutting you out because I don't want to look weak or feel weak. But me personally, it's hard for me to let people be there for me. Like, it's hard for me to let you be there for me, because if I'm going through something, I'm like, I'm gonna figure it out on my own. Just make sure that you're there for me when I'm back. But I'm gonna go here by myself for a while.
I think, like you brought a little more light to that question for me. I think it kind of goes along with the last question. Like, I think my spirit is just kind of like, keep it pushing. So like, if I was to lose my job, just keep it pushing. Yeah. Or if I'm messing with a chick and it don't work out, like just keep it pushing. So instead of me stopping and dealing with it, I just keep it pushing, you know what I mean? So I think it's just more of like a, kind of like he said, just leave me alone kind of thing. But
do you think that'll make you break down?
Huh?
Do you think that'll make you break down one day? Or have you broken down before? Like, just had like a breakdown moment?
I don't think so.
See, and that's, I'm scared for myself.
Still waiting for it.
I'm scared for myself. I've never had a breakdown.
Yeah.
I've never had a breakdown. And it's like, to say that I'm somebody who never, like, I do the same thing, keep it pushing.
Yeah.
So to say that I'm always just like, charge to the game, charge to the game, charge to the game.
Yeah.
To say that I've never had a breakdown.
Yeah, that's a good question.
When are you scared of that coming? Do you think, because to me, I feel like it's never gonna come. I've been doing this for 20 some years.
I think that it's like,
at this point, but it's a double-edged sword, because if the breakdown never comes, at what point are you just cold?
right.
Like, it'd be some days where I feel like, man, I don't even feel nothing anymore. Like,
dang,
because.
what I was just thinking, I was like, maybe like over time it's like a getting stronger kind of thing.
No,
it's becoming colder. So yeah, that's
because
that's crazy. I never thought of that.
I realized a few years ago, at any point, I can really go, like, if I fall out with anybody, I can never talk to you again.
Yeah.
And
Right.
it might hurt me, but it's not gonna bother me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like my everyday life, and I'm like, human beings should not be like that. For me to fix my mouth and tell you I love you, I should not be prepared to never talk to you again. But I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Growing stronger as men, like, oh, I'm strong. That don't bother me. It's just you growing colder.
Yeah, it's us losing ourselves.
Yeah. But then at what point do you look up and realize, like, I'm gone? Like, who I was gone.
Damn.
Man, it's really crazy.
I never thought about this, but like y'all having this conversation is so weird because like growing up, like, okay, how you were saying like you shouldn't be able to say, oh, I love you, you're one of my close friends, but I can never talk to you. Like, we could literally fall out and never speak again and I would lose no sleep over it.
Yeah.
Like, I think as females, we are so conditioned to be like, you're friends, like you're friends, you have this circle, you have these people. But like for me, I'm one of those people that's like, I could go, like we could be close friends and something happened and you'd be like, I don't want to talk to you no more. And I might be upset about it for a few days, but after that I'm like, okay. And I can walk past you like I've never seen you before a day in my life. And I think it's because like, my brother was kind of like that. He was just like, when I was younger, I think we fought a lot, one. But growing up, I always knew, and like he always let me know that like whoever these other people are, like that's fine. But like at the end of the day, if you fall out with them, if you never talk to them again, I'm gonna be here. Like we were literally born best friends. So like you don't really need these other people. And I think that's kind of like a male perspective because from a female point of view, it's always like you do need, like you need people, you need a circle, you need friends. But like he was always just kind of like, you don't need them, like nah. So it's weird to see like the male perspective kind of affecting the female perspective and like changing it.
It forms your personality.
I'm like
you just have a personality with a little more of a male influence than the next girl might.
I feel like everybody should grow up with a little bit of mix. Like I feel like
that's why everybody needs a 2-parent household.
But even then I feel like now people say like 2-parent household. And like in your head you're like that's what makes it like you'll get both perspectives. But I feel like the key is having an active and healthy
right. Oh, yeah,
2-parent household.
When I say 2-parent, I'm automatically assuming active and healthy because most people don't even have 2 parents. Right. Like most people grow up in either a split home or just one.
So what do y'all say to other men who feel like openly dealing with or expressing things are like weak or unmanly? Like what would you tell them?
I think now that I'm an adult, like that ain't cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like express yourself, like do what you want to do. But like they, like I think in their mind they know like, oh, like I can't do this. You know what I mean? Because how the world gonna see me. But I think my perspective is like you should express yourself.
Yeah.
Just be yourself. Like
I think most men figure it out, but that's why women are so frustrated with us because we don't figure it out till later. You know, like because we're always doing it on our own. You know, if somebody was telling you that from a young age, like express yourself, cry, talk about your emotions, all of that from a young age,
you would be there.
Then we would all come about, you know, about the same time. So what I would say is just like exactly what you said, like just be yourself. Like you feel like crying, cry. We have to remove the stigma around male emotions.
At the end of the day, like it's just your health. You know?
Yeah.
Like it's your mental health. Like
So do you feel like you not expressing yourself, like how both of y'all were like, you know, I just keep it pushing, like I hold it in, I say whatever. Do you feel like that's affected you in your relationships?
1000%.
yes, I think it affected me a lot in the beginning. But I have a beautiful little girlfriend, so I mean, it's a lot of growth. I had to have a lot of growth. So shout out to her.
Yeah, that's crazy what you said though, because Like, it takes that growth, but I don't know if I haven't hit that point yet, or if I haven't hit the person to do it yet, because like, I probably never had a girlfriend longer than like 6 months. And
That was me, though.
yeah, you see what I'm saying?
That was me, bro.
Because I'm always keeping my emotions in. Like I said earlier, it's hard to let people love me. So like, I might love you, but I'm not even gonna let you love me. I'm gonna pull away from you. I'm gonna shut you down.
Man, that's so crazy.
You see what I'm saying? And that's just like what it is, because like emotions, when you don't learn how to distinguish, compartmentalize, and address your emotions as a young child, when you grow older, all emotions are in the same bag. So anger, hatred, pain is in this bag, but love gets put in there with it. So like, if I'm never taught how to address my emotions, I'm never taught how to love or let myself be loved. So like, when I start falling for you, I'm like, I ain't fucking with that.
Right.
You know, I'm going back where I came from, because this not normal to me.
But it's like, do y'all feel like, okay, so how you said you haven't gotten to that point, but you said like Dom was able to kind of help you get to that point. What was it that like helped you decide like, okay, well, this is why I should start expressing my emotions.
What clicked for you?
Granted, Dom is like very like express, like let me know. Y'all met Dom in the mukbang. That's my sister-in-law.
She's a counselor, but like, I don't know, she just know how to communicate. And she like opened me up to this. So like, by her just communicating with me, and I'm just like, man, I don't want to deal with it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, kind of like turning away kind of thing. She would still like keep coming at me, and that was just like, I just look at it like, man, I'm gonna push at this, you know what I mean? Because I found somebody that cares, you know what I mean? So I guess it's just finding somebody who puts that effort in, you know what I mean?
You gotta match the effort though.
Yeah. You gotta match the effort though.
For sure.
Right, because I felt like at one time I can't do this, you know, but I think that some made me keep going, you know, and like keep pushing at it. So I think that's what helped me a lot. And now I'm able to open myself up. Like when I feel something or I want to say something, I can just say it, you know, and we just adults. It ain't like, no, I'm saying it and it's about to be over. You know, like some childish shit, but like it just, it's real, it's cool.
Yeah, emotions are a deep thing.
Yeah.
So I feel like, do you think that someone can build that outside of a romantic relationship?
You're supposed to be able to do it platonically.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like as a friend, I should be able to be like, hey, you know, like, how are you feeling?
Right.
Like, I feel like we so often get uncomfortable, I guess, like, doing these things and like having people like express this the same way. Like, do y'all feel like y'all can talk to your male friends about things like that?
The biggest thing for me when it comes to talking to people, they call me, are you okay, bro? And I'm like, yeah. I'll tell them one thing, but I won't tell them 2, 3, 4, 5. Just because I can't do it. Like it brings me physical discomfort to talk about it. Like it makes me feel weird, so I just don't talk about it.
Like, I also didn't realize like it's really hard to like confront men about their emotions. Now that I think about it, because like even with like T, like I feel like we're really close, and I feel like we think about things a lot like the same a lot of the times. But sometimes I can't, like, I can tell something's wrong. I know something's wrong, but sometimes I just don't want to be like, hey, like, I might tell him, like, of course I'm gonna be like, you good, like, you all right, but I don't get to the point where I am like, tell me what's wrong, like, you need to tell me.
That don't work for me. Versus
when something's wrong with me, he literally is like, he's not gonna come and be like, you need to tell me, but he might like, well, you're just gonna be mad all day. And eventually I'm like, okay, well, let me tell you what happened. And even like, now that I realize it's like, Carlton and I have been friends since we were like 4 or 5.
Literally.
And like, I've gotten on Twitter before and he'll tweet and be like, you know, life has just been horrible lately. And in my head, I wanna be like, what's wrong? Are you okay? But I'm like, I don't know. One, I don't know if he wants to talk about this. I don't know if this is gonna make it worse. I don't know if he is going to express it. I also don't want to force you to talk about something. So I feel like as women, we look at men and we're like, I don't want to force you out of your comfort zone. When in actuality, it should be the opposite. It should be, I'm now forcing you out of your comfort zone. Because I think that's what you were saying with Dom. Like, it took somebody giving you that push and showing you like, oh, you don't want to talk about it? Cool. You go ahead and sit here for a minute. But I'm going to come back and we're going to talk about it. Oh, you still not ready? Bet. Well, I'm still going to be here.
I don't know how that works, though, because, like, that literally does not work for me. Like, people who try to, like, pull it out of you, it makes me shut down even more. Like, if
well,
you
not necessarily pull it out.
Or even, like, be there. Like if you say, what's wrong? Talk about it. I say, I don't want to talk about it. You say, okay, cool. You do you for a while, and I'm going to come back. Then when you come back and say, I want to talk, and I'm still going to be like, no. Like, even if I do tweet something, it's not like I'm tweeting this so somebody can ask
about it.
I'm literally just tweeting that I'm not gonna talk about it. Like, that's how deep it is for me. Like, from growing up, like, even if I want to talk about it, I physically cannot. There's been plenty of people who wanted to be there for me, and I just didn't even give them the space to be. Because even though I had a world to speak about, I had nothing to tell you. And that's my thing I'm trying to deal with and get over. Or like assess, and that's why I say everybody needs to go to therapy. I haven't been yet, but I want to go.
That's real.
It's like I'm looking at the Great Wall of China, and I have no ladder.
I think it's for me. I think it's me as a person wanted like yearning for that. So I think it's probably more what it was than anything. Like I feel like you like dealing with stuff like that. Like I ain't about to express this. Like I said, like I'm gonna keep it pushing. Like when it came to emotions or just whatever. Like. So I feel you on that, but I think it was just more of me wanting it. So
that's another part of it though, because like I want to,
yeah,
I really do. Like I want, and it's like that's like a 2-part thing. Because like sometimes I want to tell you something, but I don't know if I can trust you as a person, like who I'm speaking to. And then there's like I want to make sure that who I'm talking to, like I can confide in you, like forever. Or whatever, but
you know what though, we was friends about probably like 6-8 months. So
you gotta be friends first.
Yeah,
you
have
to be friends.
That's one
like
thing.
A genuine thing.
Like on your end, I feel like a form of vulnerability on some shit, but it's like
that's the word.
It's like
prison.
Writing it down, I feel like, or maybe even recording it might help you. Or even, this is my friend that I've just known for a long time. We really not that close, but I know I can trust you to tell you this shit. Like, sit down and record something to them. And then whether you send that, whether you delete it, is all up to you. But you got it out and you like expressed it. So you're still not bottling it up. You don't have to worry about, if you decide to delete it, you ain't gotta worry about if they're gonna tell somebody because they're never gonna see it.
Yeah.
The same thing with writing it down is like, you may never see it. I write letters all the time and then I rip them up and I'm like, damn, well, that was fun. Like, glad I got that out type of thing. So something like that may help.
I think that is a healthy way.
You gotta find what works for you, basically.
Yeah.
Whatever your best medium of expression is. I never found my medium of expression. And then, you know, it's part of life. No one has the answer, so we all just trying to like, you know, find our little way through, but we'll all find our thing one day. As long as you just keep looking. The goal is just don't stop looking.
Don't stop.
Yeah, you can't stop looking for it because then you give up.
I think it's definitely worth continue to look for, like you said. I think it's for you to be able to just record these videos and feel comfortable and just get whatever it is you feel out. I think that it's really cool because you could do that, you know, like everyone can't do it and everyone don't know how, so I'm still looking for mine, but
and I think it's like, even like I said, vulnerability, like I think with men, vulnerability is like a bad word.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, even like,
because vulnerable is weak.
Like with men, I feel like it's important to remember, like my thing for the past like month or two has been like, you have to grant yourself the grace that you give other people. So just learning to be vulnerable and learning to like allow yourself to feel that way. So like the same way, if like you said, if your partner came to you and was like, oh, I'm sad, you're not gonna be like, dog, like whatever, like, you know, that's come on now. Mm-hmm. So to a sense, you have to trust that like, if that's your partner, he's not gonna do that either. Mm-hmm. And if he does, like as men, I feel like it's also important to start holding each other accountable. I just feel like Sorry. I know it's hard. I feel like as males, it would be harder to hold those friends accountable. Because even as a female, like, I feel like there's some friends that when they need something, when they're in a situation, when they really need advice, my phone blowing up. But when they ain't talked to me in a week and a half and I'm not sending funny tweets, or, you know, I'm going through my shit, my phone dry. And it's like, oh, well, you know, I was just waiting on you to text me. Type of thing was like, you don't wait on me to text you when you need my advice, when you need me to be there for you. So I kind of had to start holding people accountable for it. Yeah. So I feel like the same thing with men. Like, if I can't come to you as my friend and be like, hey dog, I'm going through it, and you might think this like something feminine, but I need to express this to you real quick.
Yeah. Like vulnerability, like you said, and trust, I think, are the two biggest things for me. Yeah, the two biggest things, and you can't really have one without the other. Because in order for me to be vulnerable, you have to trust that you have my best interests at heart. And you know, if you grow up with vulnerability issues and trust issues, you're gonna be a jaded adult emotionally. So like, you can still be a very good person, you just never express what you're really feeling. But you know, it's a lot of things. Sometimes I'll call my partner and try to I'll just try to express. Mm-hmm. And I like you said, I let them express to me all the time. Yeah. And then when I'm expressing to him, he's giving me, man, no, you need to do this, you need to do that. And you never even listen to what I said. You know, you're telling me what I need to do, you're telling me this and that. Like, if it was that fucking easy, I would have done it, obviously. Right.
I feel like for men, it's like, sometimes, like, and I could be wrong because, you know, I'm not a man. But I feel like sometimes it's just like the listening aspect. Like, I feel like because men are raised to...
We're doers.
Do it on your own, get it done, figure it out, that sometimes they kind of miss the... I'm gonna do it, you know, whatever, but let me express to you what's going on and how much I'm struggling to get it done. I'm gonna still do it, but just let me like express to you what's going on in the process of me getting it done, if that makes sense.
That's exactly how it should be, but how many people can say that they have that? You know what I'm saying? Like, especially male to male relationships. I have certain people that I really do trust that if I called them and told them, they'll listen to me, but it's on me because I just don't. Mm-hmm. But there's certain people who I tried that with, failed me, or they let me down. So that's going against that vulnerability and trust again. A few times that I have tried to extend myself and be everything that I wanted to be emotionally, the people that I was trying to do it with, maybe it just wasn't the right time, maybe it wasn't the right person, but I always felt like I was left hanging. Mm-hmm. So over the years, it eventually just turned into well, I'm gonna just stop. Stop. Because even I understood the problem that I had as a child and a teenager. And when I started coming to my late teenage, young 20 years, I'm like, all right, let me try this again. But when the people who I was trying it with, like the people who I was vulnerable with and trusted, completely turned it back on me.
Kind of going on with both of y'all said, as guys, I think as teenagers, we tried at one time, to connect with people and make them friendships and I'm gonna express myself, but then you learned that you can't trust everybody. So then you just kind of go through life and then you learn not to trust people no more. Yeah. So then now you just closed in. So it's just crazy. And just with guys in general, it's we don't feel open enough to do that like women do.
I think women emotionally are just from how we are bred and raised that y'all deal with a lot more emotionally from the very beginning. Mm-hmm. So when it comes down to it, you betray a man's trust once, twice, we done. But women, you're used to being let down emotionally by men and women. Mm-hmm. Y'all are you handle it better than we do.
Okay, so I really don't know the exact statistics, so forgive me. If you happen to know the statistic and you want to fact check me, go ahead and drop it down in the comment section. But there was I literally almost died. Okay.
Gum?
No, it's no gum. No gum at all. So I was watching, I want to say it was Red Table Talk, and they were saying like the statistic was almost like men were like 2 or 3 times more likely than women to commit suicide or attempt suicide, assuming that it's associated and related to the fact that they are more likely to hold things in and not to express that to anybody. So my question to you all is, if there's a man that's watching right now that is going through this, that's dealing with these thoughts or contemplating this, what would you tell them? As far as like, they feel like they can't talk to their friends, they can't talk to anybody, but they are looking for advice. What's your advice to them? Like, talk to them like that's your friend.
That's one of the hardest things ever, just because it's such a personal thing. Like, it's so deep when it comes down to you having an existential crisis to where you don't know if you want to be here no more. If I'm talking to somebody who might feel that way, you matter way more than you think you do. And the things that you might be feeling right now, they feel like they're the end of the world, and it's so hard for somebody to tell you that they're not, but you have to stay here to see that next sunny day. It might be raining for a month, it might rain for a year, but the sun will shine again. And if you need somebody to talk to, you can put my Instagram in the thing. Y'all can DM me, open ears for anybody, male, female, whatever, for any type of problems, because even though I may not have all the answers, I'm always here to listen. And sometimes that's all you need is just somebody to listen and just to tell you that you are still important. And every single human being that was born has a right to live, and you deserve to be here. And, you know, I've been you before. I've had days where I sat in the dark and was like, I don't want to be here. Like, there's no need for me to be here. And I still have those days, but, you know, I just have to find an extra reason to latch on every day. Every day you wake up, you have to find one more reason to smile. And as long as you do that every day, like, okay, I got a reason to smile today. I got a reason to smile today. I got a reason to smile today. You have to keep looking for one all the time. And eventually, things will start to be filled with more smiles and more positivity. So it's hard, I know it is, but I'm always here to listen. You have people here willing to listen to you, and you're always loved, and you belong here.
I think my motivation to you is just to keep pushing, man. Like, you here for more than just you. I think there would be, I don't know if this is a good thing to say, like in a moment for someone that's dealing with that to that extent, I think that you are here for more than just you, you know? Think about your future kids. Think about your family members that would be hurt, like if you were to take yourself away from here. And I know that teenagers usually tend to deal with depression more than adults. You know, you kind of come out of it like as an adult, but like life gonna get better. Like you gonna have sunny days ahead. You're not gonna be dealing with this forever. So I just want to motivate you to keep pushing, just keep going, it's gonna get better.
50 Cent said it best. He said, joy wouldn't feel so good if it wasn't for pain. Sunny days wouldn't be special if it wasn't for rain.
I'm going to tell you something a little bit different from those two, because I think what T was saying was you have to think about everybody else in the situation. And what Carlton was saying was kind of like, you have to keep finding a reason. Stop thinking of everybody else. So stop making, because I feel like in that moment and in the moment that you may be going through, it's more of like, well, I'm a burden to these people and I'm always having problems. But you have to stop thinking about them for a second to think, okay, if I am a burden, I'm not a burden because it's my problem. I'm a burden because they have an issue with it. So maybe I don't need to be around this person anymore. The same thing with, it might not get better. Like, honestly, it's probably not going to be better tomorrow, and it's probably not going to be better next week. In a month, it may look up a little bit. Like, I'm not going to just tell you you're going to wake up tomorrow and feel better, because you're not. It's very unlikely. But at some point, you will start to feel a little bit more normal. and you will learn how to cope with the things that you're dealing with a little bit more. The same thing with like how T kind of said, you know, people tend to think that you go through this when you're a teenager and then you don't really, like, as you grow out of it. But as somebody who's about to be 25, I'm still waiting on the growing out of it type of thing. Cause like, I feel like sometimes my depression is worse than when I was in high school. And as a man, sometimes you may feel like I should not be dealing with this. Like, I shouldn't feel like this. So instead of continuing to feel like this and dealing with it and accepting it and granting yourself the grace to feel that way, you decide that it's easier just to not deal with it, which it's not easier.
It's a very permanent solution.
Yeah. And people like to say with that, like, my biggest pet peeve with that is it's a very permanent solution to a temporary problem. Because I'm not going to call depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, those aren't necessarily temporary problems. They're likely something you'll deal with for the rest of your life and something that you'll always fight. So, but that permanent solution isn't necessarily the answer to this permanent problem. Like, there are better permanent solutions.
Whatever makes you happy, because at the end of the day, all the things that probably are contributing to your stress and your depression, they're all made up. Like money, society, all these rules we live by, all this, whatever that's going on, none of it matters. Because at the end of the day, all that matters is you being happy while you're here on this earth. And that is what you have to prioritize, your happiness. So whatever it is that makes you smile, find certain ways to put yourself in those realms. You know, if you like to paint, try to paint more often. If you like to read and write, try to create 5-10 minutes a day where you can do that. If you like to listen to music, turn your phone off and play our phone is on music now, but put on Do Not Disturb and play music for 15 minutes and just sit there and be happy or sad and just whatever makes you feel the most at ease and, you know, comfortable.
And that's the thing too, like, with that, it's like, people often want to tell you, like, find something to make you smile, like, find something that's gonna make you happy. Dog, cry.
Yeah.
Even if you find that right now you can't find things that make you happy, find things that keep you going. I know one big thing for me was I got a ferret. And the reason I got him was because I was so depressed that I wasn't taking care of myself because I didn't care to take care of myself. But this other thing that I chose to buy and to be the owner of and be responsible for literally only survives because of me. So that was like my thing that worked, because it was like, I have to get out of the bed, because if not, he doesn't eat. I have to get out of the bed, because if not, he's gonna keep yanking on the cage. Like, I have to get up to do things for him. So that was, so like, I mean, you might not want to go as far as that. Get like a goldfish, you know? They still rely on you. So like, start small. But that was something somebody told me. They're like, get something that you're responsible for. Like,
plants are really good too.
Okay, y'all, so that was really the last question. I really only had like five questions written down, but we kind of went on little tangents and talked about other things. So yeah, next Thursday, I really don't know. I'm thinking about doing a women in mental health to kind of give y'all the opposite perspective. And then next Monday, I am honestly thinking about doing some true crime, because y'all, this get ready with me, do your makeup, wash your face, that is hard to record, okay? So, and I really like true crime, so that's something I can really get into and research. So I'm thinking about a Louisiana true crime case. So if you're interested in true crime, be here on Monday. I hope that y'all enjoyed this episode. If you enjoyed the video, make sure that you give it a thumbs up, and comment down below what your favorite part was. Comment down below if you know your love language and your apology language, or if you go and take the quiz and discover them, or if there's anything you want to comment on from the video, just let us know down below. Like I said at the beginning, I will be putting the links to their podcast down in the description box as well. But yeah, I'm glad y'all joined us. And until Monday, remember, everything's gonna be okay. Bye, y'all.